give it to someone special. Once bitten, twice shy. Keep my distance, but you still catch my eye. Tell me, baby, do you recognize me? Well, it's been a year and that don't surprise me. Hey friends, what's going on? This is David Potts with Song Notes, and here's a Christmas lesson for you. This one is coming in by many requests. It's going to be for last Christmas. So this is a Wham song, but many folks have covered it. The great thing about it is you only need 4 chords for the entire song, verse and chorus, repeating, which makes it super easy to learn. I'm going to show you some really dead simple ways to play this. I'm going to be doing it in the key of C, which means no bar chords for you, no B minor. I'm going to show you some really simple strumming patterns. I'll also dial things up a little bit if you want to add some cool chord voicings, if you want to add some slap strumming, right? And if you want to sort of mimic the chorus melody with what you're playing. All right, I'll show you how to do this. Right, so it's all in good fun for sure. The notes and tabs are at playsongnotes.com. It's my website, and also those of you who support me on Patreon get access to this really cool PDF that I type up for each of my lessons. It's really nicely put together, if I say so myself, and it's a great way to learn this and many other songs that I have these printouts for. So with that said, let's dive on into this lesson and get right to it. All right, straight up, again, the chords. We're gonna have a C major chord, okay? Then it's 5 strings, C, third, second, open, first, open. Okay, and we're gonna go from that to an A minor. And all we're gonna do for this transition is lift up our ring finger and put it down on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Okay, so open, second, first, open. Again, from C to A minor, okay? Notice how my middle and my index fingers are staying still, all right? And then the D minor chord. Then there's 4 strings. It's going to be open, 2nd, 3rd, 1st fret. Okay, that's a D minor chord. And then finally we have the G major chord. Okay, I'm playing 3rd, 2nd, open, 3rd. Now if you want, you can play this with your middle finger down here, you know. I like to use my ring finger usually because it frees up these 2 fingers to basically do cool stuff. Okay, so that's how I play it. Those are the 4 chords. Get good at that switch, right? Now this song, big picture, this progression for the verses and for the choruses is these 4 chords, 8 counts each, and it just repeats over and over again for the entire song. That makes it really nice and straightforward to learn, right? So we're going to be on C for 8 counts. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor, right? And then to D minor. And this is not really a strumming pattern, it's just all down strums. Right? But last Christmas I gave you my heart, and the very next day you gave it away. So this is a great way to get started. Just do all down strums, 8 counts each. Give it to someone more special. Right? But let's talk about the strumming pattern now, and you know, instead of just doing the repeating down strums, I can get a little bit dull. A few options here, okay? One option is you could just strum the 1 count and the 3 count, right? And I'll note that when we talk about 8 counts per chord, let's break that into 2 groups of 4, right? Because typically most songs in just Western music like this are 4 counts per measure, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you switch chords, okay? So if we just play the 1 and the 3 count, that would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Very next day you give it away. Okay, D minor. Last year I'm saving my tears, and one more special. Okay, so that's the 1 and the 3 count. You also could do the backbeat, like the 2 and the 4 count, right? So last Christmas I gave you my heart, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's a bit trickier because you're not really having that like that beat on the 1 and the 3 to sort of mark the changes of each chord, right? So you could play with the accents a little bit and maybe do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now that's another way. What I also might recommend though is a more traditional strumming pattern, which might be like a down, down, up, down, up, 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 right? So that's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Okay, so that's another way to do it. And then finally, there's like the like slap strum approach. So I have a whole video on the slap strum where it's basically you're gonna bring your right hand, your strumming hand, the fleshy part under your pinky right there, sort of into the string. Again, check out that video if you want to do that. But that would be like. Last year, to save me from tears, I gave it to someone more special. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, and the very next day. Right, the benefit of doing that is it really, it just adds a percussiveness to your performance, right? You're imitating a drummer by doing that sound. And that can be a little cool way just to turn a few heads and just add a bit of a driving beat to your playing, even though you're sort of doing, your regular rhythm guitar chords, right? You're just adding that drum percussive sound. So those are your strumming options. I'll say use what you will, and you'll be in good shape. Now, as far as spicing up these chords a little bit, let's look at this. So we have our 4 chords, and with each one, we're going to add a note, or in the D minor's case, take away a note. And then we'll have basically 2 different voicings we can work with. So with the C, the recommendation would be put your pinky on that 3rd fret of the 2nd string, the B string, right? It kind of turns the C into what's sometimes called a C add 9, because this is the 9th note in the scale that starts here, right? So basically, get used to going to and from that, right? And you could just do like 2 strums with the pinky down and 2 strums off, right? Okay, and the cool thing is with the A minor, you're gonna put your pinky in the exact same note, okay? So, okay, so that's the A minor to an A sus4, back to the A minor. And then the D minor, what we're gonna do is take off our index finger. And then for the G, we're gonna basically, we're gonna put our index finger back down on that 1st fret of the 2nd string. Okay, so again, the A minor and the D minor. The G. Okay, with the G, you'll notice right here what I'm doing. I'm not pushing down on the 5th string. I'm sort of letting this finger touch it lightly, and that mutes it. So it's basically 3rd fret, muted, open, 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 open. Okay, now I'm just putting my index finger down on that note. Okay, so this is something I'm going to give to you just as like building blocks, and I would encourage you to just play around with arranging them in special ways, right? You could just do the regular chord for a bunch of strums, and then add 2 strums of the sort of the modified version and go back to the normal chord. Or you could start with the modified version and then go to normal, and then modified, and then start on modified, normal, modified. Okay, it's really up to you, and I encourage you to play. Really, it's about playing and having fun and just trying out what works. Now, the last thing I'll show is how you can take those little chord voicings I just showed you and mimic the sort of chorus melody of this song with the guitar. So what this is going to do, it's going to be a combination of these chords plus the notes, the sort of modifications to the chords I already showed you. But then we're also going to sort of target a few different strings in order to get the full melody, right? So you're going to want to refer to this tab here, but basically the idea is, okay, so that would be the sort of C phrase, right? So I recommend you sort of maybe strum the chord once at the beginning, right? And then just do, well, in this case, we're going to strum it with our pinky down. And then do the full phrase with just plucking a single string at a time, all right? And then go to the A minor and do the same thing. Okay, so you notice there, I'm having to go between the first string to the second string to the third string to make sure I get all sort of notes in that melodic phrase, right? Okay, for the D minor, what we're going to do is start off with our index finger up and let that high E string ring open, you know, last year or this year. So it's, you know, that basically mimics the lyric of this year, I'm saving my tears. And then for the G, you know, give them to someone more special, right? Now that you have the melody, the next challenge would be to add a bit more strumminess to your right hand, but do it in a way where you're sort of still letting those accent, those melodic notes sort of ring true, right? For example, instead of doing this, you know, we might do this. Okay, so I'm basically kind of keeping my right hand going in a strumming motion, grabbing some strings whenever I can, but I'm always trying to be cognizant of like where that melodic note is, right? Okay, and this is a lot harder to tab because there's so much nuance and, you know, there's like a gray area with strings you're hitting or not hitting. So I'm not going to tab it out fully. You just kind of have to listen and play around, right, with the A minor. Okay. I'll say one skill or one technique that this usually uses is you're going to be doing these strums. And when you strum a chord, you're not always doing every string in the chord. Sometimes, you know, you might do, instead of all 5 strings in the A minor, sometimes you might do just the middle 4 strings. And get good at doing that, you know, practice it. You kind of want to, I like to like let the pick catch itself right here on the first string. Like don't go past the first string. See how it's sort of like bending right there? You know, and that's helpful for when you're doing, you know, stuff like, right? That last A minor strum is only 3 of the notes because you want this string to be the last melody note there, right? And the D minor. Cool. So it's up to you. It's all about your goal. You know, are you just trying to play around just by yourself when you're playing the song and find a nice little comfortable groove to get a practice rhythm going on? That's one thing. If you're playing for a room of people, the melody might not matter. People might be singing, or if, you know, it's a party and people have had a few drinks of eggnog, it's like, it's not really going to matter. Maybe you just play that little melodic lead once or twice to kick things off. It's totally going to depend on your goals and the context in which you're playing. But I think with the tools I've showed you here, you should be pretty much in good shape to, you know, take this, practice it, see what works for you, and then you can sort of use it as you see fit, whether it's practice or performance or whatever. But otherwise, that's the song. So Last Christmas by Wham. I'll say I listened a lot to this song when I was putting together my notes, and like George Michael, man, he can sing that last verse or two. He got some he has some pipes on there. His voice is awesome. So definite respect. And but yeah, man, he was a great talent. So be missed for sure. But otherwise, y'all, I hope this lesson was helpful for you. Remember to check out the website, playsongnotes.com. All the notes and tabs are there waiting for you. And thanks again to all of you who do support me on Patreon. Again, it's just $3 a month, and it gives you access to the growing library of PDFs that I've created, and it helps support me, which is very much appreciated. But I'm going to take off now. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of you watching this video. I hope the lesson was helpful. Check out my other stuff. Send in your requests, questions, comments, all that stuff. But with that, I'm going to take off. Take care. Bye-bye.